Thank you. Will come to order. Without objection, the chair is empowered to declare a recess at any time. Today, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence will hold an open hearing to discuss how the Kremlin uses financial leverage and corruption as tools of intelligence operations and foreign policy. The hearing will explore the dynamics between the Kremlin and Russia's business elites and oligarchs, President Vladimir Putin's control over the economy, Russian banks and the oligarchs, the use of financial entanglements as a means of compromise, and the derivation and importance of sanctions to the Russian testimony before this committee that the FBI had initiated a counterintelligence investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 election. While that investigation would lead Special Counsel Mueller to initiate a great many criminal proceedings, resulting in numerous indictments and convictions, it began and has continued as a counterintelligence investigation. What does that mean? Counterintelligence investigations are designed, among other things, to determine whether any U.S. persons, and in particular those in positions of influence in government or business, may be vulnerable to foreign influence, manipulation, coercion, or compromise by a hostile foreign power. This notion of compromise, or kompromat in Russian, can be subtle and discreet. It can be witting or unwitting, and it can take many forms. But it is at the heart of Russia's playbook to sow discord in democratic institutions, create leverage that can influence foreign and national security policy, both here and abroad, and encourage nations to act contrary to our security interests or theirs. We do not yet know the results of the counterintelligence investigation initiated by Comey and then continued by Mueller. It is not clear whether or to what extent the Mueller report, which is focused on prosecutorial decisions, will even discuss counterintelligence findings. But the counterintelligence concerns that animated the investigation in the first place may ultimately have the more profound impact on security and policy, and we therefore await the publication of the Mueller report to find out. Today we have an expert panel that will help us explore how Russia uses intelligence tools to influence foreign nations, both the United States and others. And we will have a particular focus on Russia's use of financial leverage to achieve their goals. Our esteemed panelists will address the interplay between business, government, and intelligence in Vladimir Putin's Russia, how Putin uses business and corruption to maintain control at home and influence foreign policy, and finally, we will delve into the issues of sanctions and why sanctions relief was so central to Russia's foreign policy or foreign influence campaign and remains a preoccupation of Putin's today. Let me now take a moment to introduce our panelists. Mcfaul served as the U.S. ambassador to Russia from 2012 to 2014 and is currently director of the Freeman Spigoli Institute for International Studies at Stanford University, where he is also a senior fellow at the Hoover Institution. Stephen Hall is the former CIA chief of Russia operations and enjoyed a 30-year career in the agency. Heather Conley is a senior vice president for Europe, Eurasia, and the Arctic at the Center for Strategic and International Studies and is also the author of the Kremlin Playbook. And Eric Lorber is a senior director at the Center on Economic and Financial Power. Thank you all for joining us today. I now yield to the ranking member for any opening remarks he'd like to make.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today we will hear from a panel on Russian oligarchs. Challenges emanating from Russia have been an abiding topic of this committee for many years. In fact, under the Obama administration, committee Republicans repeatedly warned the administration, both privately